When you picture the Great Wall of China, you probably see a solid, unbroken line of stone stretching for thousands of miles. A massive barrier built for one reason: to keep people out. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the wall wasn't just a shield, but a masterfully designed trap full of secrets? Well, a fleet of high-tech drones just gave us an answer. Flying just feet above the ancient stones, they spotted something that's been hiding in plain sight for 600 years. Hundreds of secret doors. The Great Wall is one of the most iconic structures on Earth. We think we know its story, a tale of dynasties, defense, and determined soldiers. But it turns out this monument is way more complex than we ever gave it credit for. This new discovery isn't just about a few hidden doorways, it's changing how we understand the entire purpose of the wall. It wasn't just a static line of defense, it was an active, thinking machine built for deception. So today, we're digging into how these doors were found, what they were for, and why they force us to see this ancient wonder in a completely new light. So, how do you find secrets that have been hidden for centuries? You get a new perspective. A research team from Tianjin University launched one of the most incredible archaeological surveys ever. For 4 years, they flew a fleet of drones at super low altitudes, snapping over 2 million photos to build a complete 3D map of the Ming Dynasty sections of the wall. We're talking about covering over 90% of the wall built between 1368 and 1644 with centimeter-level detail. As they stitched this massive digital picture together, they started noticing oddities. Tiny, almost invisible shifts in the brickwork that could have easily been passed off as simple erosion or repairs. But when the team took a closer look and compared these spots with obscure historical texts from the Ming Dynasty, they realized they had found something incredible. They weren't repairs, they were doors. First, they identified the physical ruins of more than 130 of these passages. But then, guided by the ancient records in their new digital map, that number kept climbing. In the end, they confirmed at least 220 secret doors woven into the wall's design. For hundreds of years, soldiers, historians, and millions of tourists have walked right by them without a clue. The camouflage was just that good, perfectly blended into the surrounding stone and landscape. This was a secret the Great Wall had kept for over 6 centuries. Okay, so what were these doors? This is where it gets really clever. These weren't just back doors, they were brilliant instruments of military strategy. The most amazing ones were called sally ports. Imagine an enemy army camped outside the wall. From their perspective, all they see is solid stone, but on the inside, one of these secret doors is actually hollow, with a very thin layer of brick on the outside. It's a pre-made exit. When the time was right, Chinese soldiers could burst through that thin outer layer, like breaking an eggshell, and launch a devastating surprise attack on the enemy's flank or rear. It turned a defensive wall into an offensive weapon. Other doors had different, stealthier jobs. Some were tiny passages, just big enough for one person. These were for scouts known as the Yebusho, or those who do not return at night. These elite soldiers would slip out in the dark to gather intel on enemy plans. To get back in, they had to use a secret code to prove their identity. But it wasn't all about war. Some of the larger doors, wide enough for 2 horses, point to a totally different function. According to Ming Dynasty records, the government actually allowed nomadic tribes to use these gates for trade or to move their herds to better grazing lands. As the head of the research team, Professor Zhang Yukun put it, this shows the Great Wall wasn't completely closed, but open in order. It was a sophisticated border control system that could manage trade and travel just as well as it could block an army. It's pretty incredible to think about the strategy behind all this. So what do you think is the most ingenious part? The eggshell attack doors, the secret passages for spies, or the fact that the wall was also a gateway for trade? Let us know down in the comments. And if you're fascinated by how modern tech is unlocking ancient secrets, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what we uncover next. Now, you might be thinking, were the Ming geniuses the first to come up with this? Not even close. The idea of using secret tunnels in fortifications is an ancient Chinese military tradition. Long before the famous parts of the Great Wall were built, archaeologists found complex tunnel systems. For instance, at a 4,300-year-old stone city in Inner Mongolia, they discovered secret passages running right under the city walls. This created a three-defense system that would have been a nightmare for any attacker. Then there's the so-called underground Great Wall from the Song Dynasty, a massive network of tunnels designed to hide entire armies on the open plains, allowing them to pop out of hidden exits and ambush enemy cavalry. These earlier examples show that the secret doors of the Ming Dynasty weren't some new idea. The wall's architects were drawing from a very old, very clever playbook on tunnel warfare and deception. They just perfected it on a scale the world had never seen before. So all of this changes the job description of the Great Wall. It's time to stop thinking of it as just a big, dumb barrier. The discovery of these secret doors shows it was a dynamic, intelligent, and flexible system. It wasn't just a shield, it was a tool for launching surprise attacks, gathering intelligence, and even encouraging trade and diplomacy when it served the empire's interests. Other recent finds support this richer picture. In the Jiankao section near Beijing, archaeologists have found not just cannons, but heated beds for the soldiers on duty, and even turquoise artifacts, suggesting it was a hub for trade. It paints a picture of the wall as a place of both conflict and connection. This really shifts our whole perspective. The Great Wall wasn't a symbol of a closed-off, isolated empire. It was an instrument of sophisticated statecraft, built on the understanding that true strength isn't just about building an impenetrable wall. It's about knowing exactly when and how to open the door. It's amazing to think that a landmark this famous, one we thought we knew so well, could still hold so many secrets. Thanks to a few drones and a lot of hard work, a 600-year-old mystery has been brought to light. The discovery of these hidden doors does more than add a footnote to history books. It reveals the Great Wall as a living, breathing system of defense, deception, and diplomacy. It was a structure designed not just to be closed, but to be opened on its own terms. This is a perfect example of how new technology can peel back the layers of the past, and it leaves you wondering, what other secrets is the Great Wall still keeping? As the research continues, one thing is certain: the Great Wall is not done telling its story.